Alrighty then, back once again for another reaction. This time it's Once Upon a Time, Season 3, Episode 8. Much like the last time I came back, this is like a little bit later than intended because, again, I made a Patreon promise at the end of last month that I was feeling really good. And it was, I was thinking, oh yeah, this weekend it'd be a perfect time to do some videos and stuff like that. But as luck would have it, that very same weekend, a friend of mine came out of a 10+ year relationship and he really needed his friends with him. And so I spent that weekend comforting one of my best friends and basically having a good time, guys night style, with a bunch of friends, having drinks at my local pub and stuff like that, and just spent time with him for like the whole weekend. And so I used like all of my free time around that time, focused around being a good friend. And but then in the week or so that's just passed, in which I would have tried to start this month with a shebang, I really intended to do that. I got struck down with, I don't quite think it was COVID because the symptoms didn't last all that long, but I got struck with an influenza of some kind and it wasn't a fun time. It really wasn't. I was having like terrible fevers, hacking cough keeping me up at night. I went through several rolls of tissue paper trying to blow my nose all the time, and I ended up feeling like death. But thankfully it only lasted half a week and I have been slowly on the road to recovery coming out of it. And since I now have a wealth of free time today, which for me is the 7th of August, 7th of August, I figure let's do it. Let's record the marathon session I said I wanted to record a couple of weekends ago this weekend. Let's do it now. We're doing it now. We're doing it live. So we're back again with Once Upon a Time. And I hope to eventually get a stockpile of these so that I can then start stockpiling other reaction series that I've been neglecting. It's just, this is one of my favourite shows that I like to watch, and so I like to prioritise this because it's always going to give me a good time coming back into things. And oh my gosh, I can tell that I've recently been ill because I'm getting dehydrated very quickly. Gonna have to refill this between episodes. Ugh. My audacity seems a bit low. Just gonna turn my inputs up. Hello. That looks a lot better. In fact, I might need to turn myself down. Okay. Wow. Back to the old grind. Back to Neverland. Back to these dramas. Back to the characters trying to collect Henry and mosey their way on home. Very excited to see the developing like little buddy alliance between Regina and Gold. And I really love how God is getting these digs in where he can on Regina in regards to her jealousy. That's an interesting angle that I want them to explore more. And Henry is going to be challenged on the island that Pan has shown him. Obviously, it's like I have a visual memory of a lot of things that happened, but again, because it's been a while since the last recording, some context has faded. But that will surely all come back as soon as all the characters come back in the situations that they were in. So I don't think it's going to affect my viewing whatsoever, because you have to think this kind of thing comes out for TV. Like when this came out, it's coming out aired on TV. So like it was going to be a while between the episodes when you tune in anyway. So I'm sure that there will be more than enough there that I won't have needed to go back. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much the plan. I'm going to record a bunch, as much as I can tonight, and then we'll see where I'm left by the end of it. So let's go. Well then. Wow. Okay. Wow. Of all the episodes that I was expecting to come back to, you hit me with that. That is in no way derogatory. That is purely in praise, because what? So, pretty much all I'm going to be able to talk about is that bombshell. Pan is what became of Rumpel's dad, and the shadow was there before him. And like the whole never aging thing simply came about because he made that deal with the shadow, and oh my brain. This is insane lore building for how Neverland came to be this way, and Pan's whole obsession with youth and stuff like that. But I swear, being able to rewatch this season and all of the interactions between Pan and Rumpel and Henry, knowing what we now know as a result of this episode, that is brilliant. That is spooky, how much that suddenly changes things and completely adds new weight to certain scenes. That's the sort of bombshell twist from this series I've come to love so much. Like, I remember feeling similar things back when the original family twists were originally happening, and now we've got Rumpel's father, which in turn makes, if Rumpel goes on to marry Belle at some stage, that makes Belle Pan's daughter-in-law. That's weird. So then, Rumpel's son, Neil Bay, that's Pan's grandson. And then, yeah, Henry, great-grandson. Emma, step-great-granddaughter, except without being married or whatever. Huh? And Regina being the adoptive great-granddaughter as well. Like, no, adopted. Oh my gosh, the ladders. So, Pan, Henry. So then the one above. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna stop thinking. All you need to know is family. Like, we've had another addition to that messed up Thanksgiving table that they were talking about. I freshly recovered from a flu-like cold. I don't need this. But I do need this. This is quality entertainment. That is a glorious twist. They did something with Rumpel's backstory that I never could have seen coming or expected. I thought with the shadow showing up, Pan was already existing somewhere else on the island. Like, I didn't realise his father was literally going to become Pan. That is tremendous. That is tremendous. Oh, my brain. My brain. But I do like trying to think of more things to say about this episode, because it was a good episode, especially the second half. I liked how we've brought to a head a lot of the different things about this. I like... trying to put this into words here. I like how the trust issues with Rumpel and his whole prophecy thing all came out in the open at once, and they found a reasonable way to move forward while still keeping an eye on him. And then they realise, hey, maybe he was being genuine after all, and they decide to trust him. But ultimately he fails because we've got to keep up the dramatic tension and stuff. But the reveal that we got along the way, that was epic, and it really put a nice little bow on their little feud. So yeah, Rumpel can now take a back seat until the arc's ready to wrap up, I guess. Maybe he can come back before Pan is dealt with, so he can get some kind of closure of some kind, I don't know. But Henry getting his, like, you know, he's come on this heroic thing where he's determined to do the right thing. He wants to do things for the right reasons, and that has been used against him flawlessly by Pan. I can't get mad at Henry for any of the mistakes he's been making, because this hero complex is something that's been with him since the very first season, so it tracks for him. Like, yes, there's something to be said for believing the words of a stranger over the words of family, but you have to understand that when you're that young and you still are embroiled in wanting to be something more, like, you know, he's finally able to be you know, he spent a whole season struggling to convince everyone else that all this stuff was real in the first place, and now he's actually along on an adventure. He wants to prove himself. He wants to be the hero, so sometimes logic is going to get filtered out. That's just how it's going to go, and Pan knew how to play on that. He knew how to appeal to Henry's hero fantasies and get him to do what he wanted him to do. There's nothing wrong with what Henry was doing, I think. But, oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. As I said, I think a big selling point of this season is going to be when you eventually rewatch it and realize how certain dynamics change. Because, oh boy, wow, yeah, wow, that's all I can say coming back to this series. Wow. Hopefully the rest of the season is just as wow, and I shall see you guys next time.